The Nigerian aviation space was busy this week with two separate accidents that made the headlines. Also, concerned Ishekiri leaders have pointed out that INEC has not abided to court ruling by reverting Warri South constituency wards from 12 to 10. Now, this is Standpoint. I am Precious Amayo. Now, an aircraft belonging to Dana Air experienced a runway incursion upon landing on Tuesday at the domestic wing of the Murtala International Airport in Lagos from Abuja. Multiple sources working at the airport reported that the incident occurred at about 10:30 a.m. and that was shortly after the aircraft landed at the MM2 wing of the airport. Fortunately, no casualties were reported. Following the incident, the Minister of Aviation, Festus Keyamo, directed the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority to suspend Dana Air. The minister also ordered a comprehensive audit of the airline. The audit is to encompass all aspects of safety protocols, maintenance, procedures, and financial health to ensure full compliance with the aviation sector's regulations. Meanwhile, on Thursday, the Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria diverted flight operations out of Terminal 1 of the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Lagos, to the D wing following a fire outbreak at the facility. The fire outbreak occurred at the E54 passenger air bridge at the domestic wing of the airport. Normalcy has returned, as the Director of Public Affairs and Consumer Protection, Obiagiliora, said members of the public have nothing to worry about as the fire was promptly put out. All right, let's dissect this further. General Secretary of the Aviation Safety Roundtable, Olumide Ohuayo, joins me live to discuss the recent accidents that plagued the Nigerian aviation sector. Good to have you join us.
Thank you for having me. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. So, like our introduction said, those were two accidents, one on the side of the airlines and the others on the side of the regulator, which was at the E-wing of the airport. But I want to get your assessment, looking at both incidents. What does this say about the commitment of the airlines to safety protocols? And then what are the regulators also doing their jobs in terms of the maintenance of the airport?
Well, the regulators are on top of the situation. They have not failed us, and I don't want us to doubt the regulators, because when we begin to doubt or rubbish our regulators, we are inadvertently putting the country on a bad light, and that might affect or may affect our certifications, also and the ability of our airlines and other investors to have access to leases and credit, and also increase cost of insurance. So we need to watch what we throw out there concerning the regulator, because the regulator is seen as one that holds firmly the industry together. A whistleblower in Pakistan who put out a very wrong information about the regulatory body has not, today, the Pakistani CA has not recovered from that thing, and then airlines from Pakistan are not allowed into some countries in Europe and America. So we need to be very careful and very, very protective. Though, I would tell you that I do not support that we sweep anything under the carpet. Whatever is going to impede your safety must be brought to the open, and that is what I support. But the industry frowned, and so was my organization, frowned at the direct interference of the Honorable Minister to the process of safety. But the Minister has his role cut out by the policy of the government, the road policies to supervise the agencies. But you see, just like in some other institutions, when the aviation is not Nigeria, it's not localized, it's globalized. And Nigeria is part of a global group, and you cannot single out Nigerian aviation. And because we belong to bodies, there are things they frown out. The autonomy of the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority, the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority, is non-negotiable on safety and economic and other issues related to the airlines. And that is why it is only the NCA, not even the minister, that can issue the AOC to an airline. It's only the NCA. And you must have gone through all the processes, the 6 step processes, rigorous safety and audit processes to get that AOC. And that also makes it that is only the NCA that can suspend, withdraw that AOC without any interference. And that was the place whereby the industry had a lot of outcry by the decision of the minister to direct the NCAA to do safety-related issues.
The minister said, because you are there now, we'll get back to the Dana Air itself in just a moment, but the minister has responded because we saw that swift reaction from the minister. But he then also responded to the criticism. He said that, look, he has the powers within the Act to direct NCAA, that there is a part that says no political interference. That is, political interference, when you are dealing with safety, do not hinder, safety concerns. But that there is also another part that says he has the power to direct, and that's what he did. He did not issue, he was not the one that grounded the Dana airline. It was NCAA, but he only asked them to do their job. How do you react to that?
Well, you see, there are two ways to it. We said there are too many channels of communication that the minister would have used to communicate his concerns. What he did was to write a letter formally to the NCAA, directing them. It wasn't direct them to grant the operations. He did not ask them to look at it. He asked them to grant the operations for safety and economic reasons. And the safety and economic is not within his purview. It's within the purview of the NCAA. You might have just used the word investigate, but you asked them to grant. And even before the letter got to the NCAA, it was already on his Twitter handle and also on social media. That wasn't going to help the industry. But what is then saying that, okay, if your NCAA is not autonomous, it cannot decide when safety is being impeached, then you do not have a regulator, and then you don't have an industry that can be trusted beyond the Indian airspace. Because when you do this, some countries will, on that basis, not allow your airlines to operate into their country, and that's about the problem we are looking at. That means, let us leave less interference. Don't play to the gallery. You will go after 4 years or 6 years, but the industry must remain. The industry must remain variable, strong. So for the industry to be strong, we must have a strong regulator leading the industry. And you see, I think the major problem we had was we have not even followed the acts to the latter. Because what it says that before you can appoint a DG, you must advertise that position. People would apply, and when they apply, they take the last three, the best three candidates, and present them before the president for appointment. But what has happened? There's no advertisement. Any minister comes in, picks anybody of his choosing, and thereafter begins to run control over all the agencies and the industry.
So he's a minister, which means that he's a supervisor. And I want to also get your reaction to this. This is not the first time Dana Air will be having this kind of situation. There was an audit that was also was meant to be carried out. I don't know how thorough that was. I think that was in 2022, if I'm correct. And then, the minister also mentioned that at some point there was one of their doors flew open mid-air, and then this last, incident. If the regulators, are not seeing, and I'm just saying, I'm painting a scenario. I'm not saying they're not doing their jobs, but if they're not perceived, to be doing their jobs, at what point is the minister expected to say, look, this is my job. If anything happens, people will blame me. So do your job. Isn't he within his rights at that moment to say, for the safety of Nigerians, get things going on, especially with this particular airline?
We should be careful about rallying the emotions of Nigerians and using lives and threat to lives and blood as a rallying point. And that was what the minister just did with the press interview that he has organized after making that wrong pronouncement, and rather than withdraw it and apologize and allowing the NCAA. When that incident happened, it was the NCAA and the NSIB, that's the investigators, that were on ground to take possession of the environment and the aircraft, and started the processes of investigating immediately. And I can tell you, well, if it requires to grant the airline, it will be granted without the interference of the minister. Again, the aircraft in question was an MD-82. If we need a knee-jerk reaction, then you ground the MD-82 series in the fleet of Dana, or maybe another airline, pending a quick review. But they are not grounding the entire operation of Dana Airways. Now you have come to tell us about the problem of Dana in the past. We are just like human, so also are the organizations. Dana has aired in the past. Maxey has aired in the past. Asman has aired in the past. They've all been punished. And after the punishment of seizing their AOC, they went through the auditing all over again, safety, economic, and the regulator found them worthy get back to go back to operation and start flight all over again. So I'm not going to go into the history. I'm going to go into what I have, the document being signed and approved by the NCA that says you are fit to operate. At the time they were punished, it had some things happened in the past, but would you use that to hold them to them because they had issues in the past and that makes them not competent? That has been operating after that incident after their crash and other incidents. And one of those incidents were there, they were grounded, they went through the certification, they went through the process of auditing, the rigorous process of economic and safety audits, and they found fit to come back and fly. Moreover, you have been in this country in the last 6-7 months. We have had over about 4 or 5 runway excursions, and one of them was a scheduled carrier in value jet. Holiday operation was not grounded or closed. They went back into operation. I also want to cite something that happened in the United States of America early this year. Delta Airlines operating to Lagos from America. Delta Airlines was about taking off when the same nose wheel that collapsed in Dana Airlines, which landed, it was about to taking off from his spot. When the nose wheel pulled up and the nose of the aircraft hit the ground, the nose wheel was rolling down the runway behind that aircraft. That airline was not grounded. It was not grounded. So I'm saying that by announcing that, coming from a minister, making it look as if life is threatened, you have put more panic to the passengers, you are putting more panic into investors, you are making the industry look unstable and unsafe. And to plan it all, in defending his action, he has roped everybody in there as corrupt, buying big houses and buying cars. Oh, come on.
So you are saying that, look, this is the minister's reaction is like bringing a gun to maybe a knife fight. Is that what you're saying, that it wasn't appropriate?
It wasn't appropriate. It would have allowed the person. Look, if you had watched the interview, the NSIB had come at us evening to announce that they are taking control of an investigation and that within 30 days that a preliminary report will be given. The NCA members staff were on ground to also speak to the crew, to look at the aircraft and look at the other runway controls. Remember, that aircraft took off from Lagos to Abuja, and it was returning to Lagos. It was raining, and there was a wet runway. So I am not exonerating anything because I have to wait for the vendors to give us what actually happened. But we've had the same runway excursion in about one happened in Port Harcourt with Valugate. One happened, about two happened. One happened in Ibadan, and then didn't to other cities. All this aircraft some was during the rain, others was at night. So it's that there's a community that our aircraft of late and landing and getting up the runway when the weather is not good, or when the light of the runway is not clear enough. So it's not an airline issue alone. You have to begin to look at the infrastructure, the airport itself, the facility itself. But all this can, but though two accidents cannot be the same, that I agree. But we wait for this report and decide if this was entirely the fault of maybe the SOP wasn't good enough. Then you do the hammer. But if you even need to do a NIDA, it's the MD-82 series that was involved. You first grant that rather than grant the whole operation. Because when you grant the operations, even if for the aircraft that at least they continue to pay when granted, and that's going to cost more money and affect the airline itself. But you don't need to hurt more airlines. Again, you are going to allow...
Mr. Huayo, I don't hold brief for the minister, but I'm just trying to, because he's not here, just to see, why that decision was made. Because the minister also talked about the landing gear of the airline because we had an interview with him as well. Is it also possible that he's expressing some of the frustrations that he has, and some of the things he has been trying to correct behind the scene, and now he's just now expressing those frustrations in the public?
I find it very difficult to say there's frustration of things he's trying to correct behind the scene. The man came in August last year. The first press interview, he will not interfere with the process of safety. He will not interfere with the activities of the regulator because he knows, as a lawyer, that as a regulator, they deserve some level of autonomy that is enshrined in the regulation. That's what he said in August. In December, by December of last year, he wiped everybody out. All the agencies, including the NCA. He removed all the directors and brought some directors, and even expanded the directorates in the agencies. to meet his aspirations. So if you now come out and say these people are corrupt, they are being frustrated, then you brought them, then deal with them first before advancing your own country. That's my point.
All right, so let's get to other issues. I'm sure that, this Dana issue and how the minister's response is just one half of this conversation. Let's speak about the fire outbreak at the E-Wing Bridge of the airport. Talk to us about, because that speaks about our airport infrastructure and how we maintain them. And people have often complained about, toilets. People have talked about the dilapidated escalators, the parking lots, just a lot of issues. Speak to this particular issue and what you make of it, your assessment of our airport infrastructure.
Well, if I tell you that I'm happy with the presence of our airport facilities, then I'll be lying to you. And it's about the most difficult organization for the government to take a firm decision on what is the way forward. Remember, the immediate past Minister of Aviation spent 8 years convincing us that he was going to concession terminals, 5 international terminals. He has gone through. He has gotten the best case. He has gotten the ICPC to that is the concession organization approval to go ahead and with everything. And at the end of the day, after 8 years of taking us for a ride, he was not able. Only for him, barely 14 hours for him to exit office. He announced that he has concessioned both Lagos and Abuja and Kano Airport, and that was reversed. And we all knew he was just joking. You cannot just barely 14 hours to your departure tell us you have concessioned it. I am not a fan of concession. Rather, I would want a fund to be transferred to an airport company managed by a reputable airport management company who will turn it around, make it strong like its counterpart in South Africa, which is a profitable company today, and even investing in airports within the South African region. That's what I want to see fund. That's my own dream of fund. To see it turn around as an organization profitable and cannot invest and buy more airports within the West Africa and even beyond. That's what I want to see. But you see, each government comes out with their own policy. Today, fund, like you said, fund have had issues this year. If it's not fire outbreak, it has to do with power going up. If it's not toilet seats, it's about one facility or the other at the airport. That's why the new terminals that were built issues came. Even the minister himself, 2 weeks ago, told the whole world that the airports do not have a master plan. And in that same interview, he went further and said the former ministers were the one that distorted the master plans of the airport. So now he sets up a committee to look at the master, to come up with the master, work out the master plan for the airports. Their master plan, all airports have a master plan.
I was still talking about two of the major incidents in the aviation sector this week. We've been speaking with the General Secretary of the Aviation Safety Roundtable, Olumide Ohuayo. He's joining us virtually. Thanks for staying with us.
Thanks for having me. I'm here.
So, as we conclude this conversation, you were talking about the minister. He also mentioned that, look, one of the reasons that some of these issues are there is the bureaucracy for getting some of the funding out to maintain this infrastructure. One of the things he also said is that he was putting together a committee or a panel to sort of look at some of these issues. For you, what should this panel address? And then what are the critical infrastructure that must be attended to in the short term?
Well, I do not know what his plans are concerning the airports, but I must commend him that he has shown support for the domestic airline, which were thrown under the bus under the immediate past minister, who was more eager to have the Nigerian air. But as we wait for him to come up with what his actual plans are, you must throw out this fact. FAN today is among the first top 5 agencies returning revenue to the federal government. So that means the funds are there. Now, if an agency is returning funds to the government and is among the top 5, among the highest revenue generating agencies, then the problem of FAN is not revenue, but management. Today, they have moved the directors of FAN now from about 9 directors to about 12. So they have money. So it's now how to use money that should be the issue. Not that they don't have money. They have money. It's $100 per passengers that they come from anybody that flies on international routes. So they have money, and that's about the highest in the sub-region. So it's not about money. So I'm waiting for him, but we're waiting for him to come out with a clear-cut plan what it intends to do with the airport. But I know that if we want the airport to move to the level we want, then definitely it cannot remain as a federal government-owned agency in totality. That will not get us where we want to. We need all airports too. Airports that passengers can transit in. That's also affecting the development of our airline. So that's an area tool I want them addressed in their new plan for the airport.
Thank you so much for your time. You know, it's always a pleasure to have you on. Thank you so much, General Secretary of the Aviation Safety Roundtable, Olumide Ohunayo.
Appreciate it. Have a nice day.